Okay, I just wanted to come in before we make the hedgehog and say something because I just finished filming the hedgehog tutorial and I placed the eyes in the rows, but I don't know if I like where they are. But I thought about redoing the whole tutorial, but I'm not gonna do it. You'll see me have the whole debate throughout the tutorial. It's interesting. So I show you where to place the eyes in the pattern if you'd like, and they look about right here, but I kind of like how his eyes look because they're a little more forward. So if you want the eyes like this, just tie them in afterwards like I normally would, where you just like have the eye on a band and then you just pull it through and like pull it and knot it in, do that. But if you think his eyes look fine in this one and I'm just being picky, follow the tutorial exactly. But I kind of think his eyes are a little too far back. But I think if I moved his eyes forward more, they wouldn't be right either. So I think if you want to add the eyes in the rows, this is the best place to put it. It's just personal preference for me, I would tie them in. So I just wanted to come say that. Get back with the tutorial. Go back to tutorial me before I made the hedgehog. Hi, so I'm trying to change my intro from hey guys and it's going so great. This is my second take. But in this tutorial I'm going to be making these hedgehogs which were designed by me, and you guys have been requesting this tutorial for a while, but I'm finally getting around to it. I don't know how long I've had this design, honestly. It's probably been a couple years. So this is my hedgehog design in here. This is my hedgehog design. And this one has a mouth. I actually kind of like it better without the mouth now, but yeah, so I think it looks cute just like this. His little legs. I also put no fur on the stomach. So yeah, I think it's cute. It's actually really easy to make. And actually I thought it was going to be more band consuming than it is. So the band count for this guy is 182 bands for the whatever color you want his, I guess, fuzzy part to be. And then for the face, it's only 32. No, not 32, 34. And so the whole thing in total is about 216 bands. And yeah. What else was I going to say about this design? I am trying to remember. Yeah. If you don't have hedgehog colors, you could totally do what I did. As you can tell, none of these hedgehogs are technically, like, proper hedgehog colors. So I did, like, monochrome hedgehogs, which just means basically they're only one color. So, like, this guy's. So if you don't have, normal hedgehog colors, you could do, like, something like this, is what I'm trying to say. But today I'm actually going to be using, like, proper hedgehog colors. So for the face part, I'll be doing peach. And then for the back part, I'm going to be doing these, bands I've had for a while. They're brown and black. And you're going to need beads or bands for the eyes. So if you don't have beads, you can use a band, a black band wrapped around 4 times, and then just pull it onto a band, and it's the same thing. Yeah. But I think that is it, so I guess we'll get started. The pattern and everything will be in the description as usual, but I'll show you how to make it. I'm trying to put my instructions out of camera. Okay, so I guess we'll just get started. I really feel like that was a bad intro, but I don't really remember what I was going to say, so yeah. I'm going to try to add the eyes and the rows this time, and I haven't done it yet. I attach the eyes afterwards like I usually do, but I think I know where to put them, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, so to start, you're just going to wrap a band 3 times around your hook. So this is 1, 2, and then 3. And then you're going to pull a band through everything on your hook. So the whole cat band. Oops. Don't do that. You just rewrap it. And you just pull a band through everything. Put both ends back on. And then you're going to push the back one over the front one. So like that. Now we're going to go back through the whole cat band. Pull a band through the cat band. Put both ends back on. Push the back one over the front one, just like last time. And then you're going to push the loop from last time over as well. And we're going to want 4 stitches in the cat band, so we need 2 more. So I'm going to go back in and do the same thing. So we're going to pull a band through just the cat band, put the back one over the front one, then put the loop from last time over. I'm going to do that one more time. Like that. So now I'm just going to check to make sure I have 4 loops, and how we do that is we're just going to count them. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And this last loop may look like it's a loop, but you can kind of tell it's your crossband, so just be careful with that one. But once you make sure you have 4 loops, instead of going back into the cap band, we're going to go into the loop here. The first loop, and you're just going to do the same thing. Oops. So you're going to pull the band through the loop, put the back one over the front one, and then put the loop from last time over. And then we'll be putting a C-clip on this one. Like that. Okay, so for this next row, we're going to be increasing every other loop. So we're going to do 1 single stitch, and then we're going to do an increase. So I'll show you what I mean. So this is 1. So this first one's going to be the single stitch, and then the second one is going to be an increase. So do 1, then go back and do another one. So that's all an increase is. An increase is just you put 2 stitches in the 1 loop, so we just did an increase. And then we're going to go into the next band, and we're just going to do 1 stitch, so no increasing, just a normal stitch. And then in the last band before the C-clip should be an increase, so you're going to put 2 stitches in this loop. Oops. And then once you get back to the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it. And then you'll move the C-clip up. If the C-clip would get off the band. Okay, there we go. Like that. So after that last row, you should have 6 loops. So if you count, you should have 1. You always start with the one on your hook when you count, by the way. I don't know if I said that in this tutorial. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And by the way, this is like the hardest part of this design because it is so tight. After this, it gets easier. I'm just checking something. Okay. Oop. Okay, so the next row we're going to be doing the exact same thing. We're going to increase every other again. So we're going to start 1 normal and then increase. Did I say decrease? I hope I said increase. We're increasing. We're not decreasing. Yeah. So we just did 1 single or normal stitch. So we're going to go into the next one and do an increase. So 1, go back in and do another stitch, 2, and that'll be an increase. And we just keep doing this. So we alternate. So the next one's a single stitch. So we just do 1 in this one. And then the next stitch we do an increase. So we're putting 2 stitches in this one. We just keep doing this. 1, 2, then 1, and then once again the last one before the C-clip should be an increase. So 1, and then 2. And then once you get to the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch on the band that has the C-clip on it, and we'll move it up. Like that. So after that last row, you should have 9 stitches. So if we count them, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So for this next row, we are going. It's actually like the last row of the face. I think it is actually. Is it? Yes, it is. Okay. We are going to be. I spaced out for a second. We're going to be increasing every 3rd stitch. And I'm just checking something really quickly because I want to add the eyes this row. I'm trying to see where would be a good idea to do that, but I'm guessing I'm just going to have to pick a spot. Okay. So like I said, I'm going to try to add the eyes into the thing. This is probably not going to go well, but I'm going to try it anyways. So just did 1. So on this second one, we're going to do, oh my god, explaining, fun. So we're doing increasing every 3rd, like I said, so we're going to do 2 single stitches and then an increase. So this was 1 single stitch, so this will be the second single stitch, and the next one will be an increase. but I'm going to add the eye on this one as well. So you're going to want to get your band that has your eye on it, and you're going to pull it in, just make a stitch. Because this is the increase, we're going to have to go back in and do another one. Like that. We're just going to keep doing this. So, 1, 2, and we're going to do an increase. Again, hold on. Okay, I just went to check because I'm worried about where I'm putting the eyes, but it's fine. It was 1, 2, and then this one will be an increase. So we're just increasing every third loop. And then this next one, I'm going to put the eye on it. It's a single stitch, it's just I'm putting our eye band on it. And if you don't want to do it during the creation, you can always just time in like at the end like I normally do, but I'm kind of starting to realize that this is a little bit easier, so yeah. So this is 2. And by 2 I mean it's the second loop, so the next one will be an increase. And this last one should be an increase. And I'll go over what we did this row just in case anybody's confused. Yeah. And then once you get to the C-clip, once again, you'll just make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it, and you're going to move it up. Okay. So we do this. So after the end of this row, you should have 12 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wait, I got it wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12. I just counted wrong. Don't worry. I'm doing this correctly. Okay. Also, to get the nose to stick up, I usually just kind of push it in the direction I want it to go. Oh, actually, it goes the other way. Oopsie. That's his forehead. Oh. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm getting so confused at my own pattern. This is fun. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm being confusing right now. It's just because I'm making sure, like, because with this pattern, there's a lot of, like, it depends where you put things, so it's, like, I have to make sure I'm explaining right. I'm not doing anything wrong yet. I'm just being really careful, so don't worry. Also, the pattern's in the description if you ever get confused. You can check the pattern. Okay, but that was actually it for the, I had, like, a hiccup, but that was it for the peach color. So now we're going to switch to the brown, and actually this last stitch we did, we're going to want it to be brown, so just remove your C-clip for a second. You don't have to do this, it's just so the colors look nicer. You're going to want to undo that last stitch you did, and you're just going to make a stitch, but you're going to pull, instead of pulling it through just a loop, you're going to pull it through everything on your hook, then put the back one over the front one. And this is just so the color switch is nicer. If you don't care about the color switch, then you can just keep going. It's not a big deal. But yeah, so this round we're going to start adding the fuzz, and the fuzz is actually really simple, so it's not that bad. So basically before you do any stitch, now that we're adding the fuzz, you're going to double a band on your hook. And this row we're also increasing 2 on the top. I don't think I've said that yet, so 2 on the top we're going to increase. And the 2 that we're going to increase on the top, you could just increase on the top of your hedgehog wherever you feel that is, but it should be the 5th and 6th bands, I believe. So this is 1, this is 2, and then, like I said, every time before you do a stitch, you're going to want to double a band on your hook. 3, this is 4. I'm just making sure I'm at the top of my hedgehog. Yeah, so then these next two are going to be increases. So just every time before you do a stitch, remember to double a band on your hook. And we slide the fluff over, I forgot to say this, before we slide the band we left over. So it's about the same time. So you've already pushed the back one over the front one. Then you'll slide the fluff over. And then you'll slide the loop from last time over. And like I said, this is the one that we're doing a increase. So let's go back in and do another stitch. Like that. And then, like I said, so the 5th and 6th bands, this row are increases, so they're right next to each other, so the next one's an increase as well. Like that. And then the rest of the way is just going to be single stitches, but make sure you're remembering to add the fluff. I don't know, I kind of think I like my hedgehog better in the monochrome colors. I don't know if that's just because I'm looking at him right now and I think he looks a little weird. But it's fine. So yeah, we're just going to go the rest of the way doing single stitches. And just remember to add the fluff band. I would forget sometimes, so it will be a little bit noticeable if you forget to add one, so just be careful. Ugh. So like I said, just remember also when you slide the fluff over, you're going to slide it over after you push the back one over the front one. So you'll have your bands on your hook like this. You push the back one over the front one, then you push the fluff over, and then the loop from last time. And then once you get to the C-clip, we're still going to be adding fluff, so remember to have that band on. Then you're going to make a stitch in the band that has the C-clip on it, put the back one over the front one, push the fluff over, and then the loop from last time. And we're just going to move the C-clip up. So after that last row, we should have 14 loops, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. It should look something like this. Okay, so now it's going to get a bit repetitive, but like I said, I do leave this empty. So I have the stitches that you have to not put fluff on in the description if you want to follow it like that. But I'm going to stay on camera to do all of the repetitive rows because you basically have to just not put fluff on a couple on the bottom. So that way, I don't know, it just looks nicer. I could have left him all fluffy, but I felt like he didn't need the fluff on the bottom. So for the next, so we're going to do 4 rows normal, so just single stitches all the way around, but like I said, we're also going to not add fluff on the bottom, so it makes it a little different, but it's not too bad. So like I said, so every single stitch we do is going to be a single or normal stitch, and we're not going to be increasing or anything, so at the end of each of these 4 rows, we're still going to have 14 loops. So we're just doing the same thing. And we don't, basically all the, where we leave it like with no fluff is going to be down here. So it's basically single stitches until you get till, well for this row it's going to be the 12th, 13th, and 14th we're going to leave without anything on them. So we're just going to go all the way, and then once you get to 3 before the C-clip, you're going to put no fluff on these 3. So it's pretty simple. So we're just doing single stitches. And do not forget to add your fluff. I just nearly forgot. I'm trying to think if there's anything I want to talk about so we're not just sitting in silence while we wait for me to get to the part where we leave out the fluff bands. But not much. I don't have much to talk about. Let me think. Anything interesting happen? No. It was just kind of annoying when I was trying to film this tutorial because I've been trying to film it, I think, for the past 2 days. And every time I would want to film it, because I was trying not to film in the morning because I usually do, like, drawings or something in the morning. So it's like, I've been trying to film kind of in the afternoons. It's also kind of really hard for you guys to see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. The lighting's a bit weird. But I was trying to film, like, after lunch instead of, like, first thing in the morning. But every time I waited to film, it would suddenly get cloudy, and then basically my lighting went. So I'm finally able to film this tutorial. I think I've been waiting, like, it's probably been like 4 days, and I've just been, like, waiting to film, which is annoying, but it's okay. I don't know if my bands are getting kind of tangled. It's kind of really hard to see what I'm doing. Nah, my bands are good. Okay, I had to, like, pause my camera because it was about to time out because it always times out after 20 minutes. Yeah. I feel like the lighting in my room gets worse in the summers for whatever reason. Like in the winter, the lighting in my room is much better. So it's better for filming. I also didn't know if I was having a hard time seeing because my camera brightness was lower, so I turned it up. Because I actually look through the camera to see what I'm doing when I film tutorials. Almost at the end though. This is going to be a long 4 rows. So I can tell that, so 1, 2, 3. So those are the ones we're not going to put fluff on. So I have to do one more with fluff. And then on these last 3 before the C-clip, we're going to do no fluff, so you just do single stitches with no fluff on them. So 1, 2, and then 3. And then once you get to the C-clip, that one does have fluff on it, so you're going to want to put a fluff band on, and then make a stitch on the band that has the C-clip on it, and move it up. Like that. Hold up, let me check something. Okay, so after that row, you should still have 14 loops, so if you count around, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Like that. We're going to be doing the same exact thing this row, actually, and I think we're going to leave the same bands on the bottom without any fluff on them, so literally nothing changes this row. And I'm just picking up some bands really quickly. Okay. So we're just going to do the same thing. So we're going to do single stitches until we get to the last 3. Hey, is my camera focused? It's a little better. But like I said, we're just doing single stitches until we get there. These always take a second once you start adding fluff because you don't want to accidentally go through any of the fluff. I mean, if you do, it doesn't really matter too much. It's just, I try not to. As well as you have to add all these fluff bands, so it always takes a second to go around. If this tutorial is long, it's literally because of the bands. Like, the ones you have to add extra. But this dude actually isn't as band heavy as I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be worse when I was, like, calculating how many it took. But who knows if I calculated wrong. I forgot what tutorial it was. I think it was the duck. Someone commented that I calculated wrong, and I did. I accidentally left out, like, a whole row or something. Which was, like, my bad. Never trust my band math. My band math is probably, like, the band counts I do. They're probably kind of accurate. Like, it's probably, like, around there. But it's probably always a couple off. Yeah. Yep. Oh, I almost forgot to add the fluff band on. So, just keep going. And then you're just going to want to wait until you get to the last 3. So just make sure you leave the last 3 without any. I have to do one more still. And then on these last 3 on the bottom, you're going to do no fluff. So you just do single stitches without adding any of the extra band on. And then once you get to the band that has a sequin on it, you start adding fluff again. So let me just make a stitch. And move the sequin up. So after that last row, we should still have 14. You can count if you want. I'm not gonna. Yeah. Yep. I'm just making sure everything's in the right spot. So for the next row, we're doing kind of the same thing. The only thing that changes for this third row of just going around is that now we're gonna be putting no fur on the 11th, 12th, and 13th band. This row, like, no fur on it. So basically, on the 4th loop from the end, you're gonna want to stop adding fluff. Then you'll add fluff. It'll make more sense when I get there. Just stop once you get to 4 from the C-clip, which will make sense in a second. I'm just picking up some bands. Yes, okay. So we just keep going till we get to 4 from the end. This always takes a second to go around. I really feel bad for not talking about anything. But then sometimes I get comments in my video, like, well, people comment on my videos that how I'm talking instead of explaining, but when it gets to repetitive rows like these, I feel like I should say something. Plus, I only really talk in repetitive parts of my tutorials. Like, if it needs, like, some serious explaining, I don't talk, but... yeah. Okay, I think we're almost there, so... 1, 2, 3... That's 4, so I still need to do one more. Somehow I always remember to count right before I get to the one I need to get to. I don't know if I like these bands. I thought he was going to look real hedgehoggy, but I don't know. Maybe he would have looked better with just brown, but I've had these bands forever, and I always thought, oh, I'll make a hedgehog with them. I don't know if I like it. Where are we? We're right here. Okay, so I should be 4 from the end now, so if I count them, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So, the next 3 are going to have no fluff, and then this one, and then the one before the sequin does have fluff. So that's what changes this row, because we're doing it on the 11th, 12th, and 13th loops, and the 14th has fluff. So the next 3 are going to have no fluff, so we just do single stitches. Well, we're doing single stitches the whole time, it's just you don't have fluff. And then on this one before C-clip, we start adding fluff again. Then of course the one with the C-clip on it has fluff. So double the band. And then we move the C-clip up. Like that. was a little worried that the eyes were crooked to where the no fluff was, but I actually think it's pretty right. Yeah, it looks okay. Okay. He's looking good. Okay. So this is the last row around we're doing that we don't really increase or decrease. It's the 4th row. And it's the exact same as the row we just did. So we go until 4 to the end, and then we do 3 with no fluff, and then the last one before the C-clip will have fluff. Basically, literally what we just did, we're doing it again. I don't know if I like where I added the eyes for this guy. I thought it would be like cool to add it between rows, but I don't think I added them in the right spot. And now I'm debating some things. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's just I don't know. I kind of want them a little more forward. Because like on these guys, I tied these in afterwards, which is kind of what I like doing. But I thought I would show you how to put them in the rows. But I think I should have put it in one row sooner. I don't know if I should. Okay, I'm sorry. I was like having a crisis about where I put the eyes, but I actually think it looks cute. So after a like 20-minute debate, we are continuing. So yeah, last row. Here we go. I don't remember what I said before I cut it off. So this row we were going to be doing the last row of just doing single stitches all the way around. And it's the same as the row we did before. So I think that should catch us up to where we should be. I actually was like, oh, do his eyes look bad? Do they look good? I don't know. If you don't know, like, where I put the eyes in this tutorial, though, just tie them in afterwards like I usually do. I just thought it would be easier for some people, because, I don't know, man, why did I do it? Anyways, so we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to do single stitches with fluff all the way until we get to 4 before the C-clip. So 4 loops before the C-clip. But yeah, like I was saying, I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to try to add eyes in a tutorial instead of, like, testing it before. But I was like, oh, it'll be easy. I mean, I did it right. It's just, I'm so picky. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's actually around where I wanted it. It's just, I was like, it doesn't look bad. I don't want to release. Oops. Oops. Sorry, my fluff undid. So if this happens to you, because it probably will, where your bands kind of undo themselves, all you're going to do is you're just going to re-add the fluff when you're looping them back over each other. This only happens if you mess up, right? So if you didn't mess up, you won't have this problem. Because sometimes your hook slips and they accidentally unloop. So it happens. Honestly, I'm gonna probably debate even more before posting this. Like, do I like where the eyes are? The answer's probably no. I mean, they look fine, but I don't know. Just if you don't like, I'll probably edit like a thing in before, and I'll put in the description about the eyes. Just because I'm picky. We are almost done with this hedgehog. I love how confusing my instructions are all the time. It's great. Oh my gosh. Oh, wait. How many? So, 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. I was making sure I didn't go too far, but I still have to do one more. And then once we get to 4 before the C-clip, so 1, 2, 3, 4, these next 3 will be with no fluff. So 1, 2, and then 3. And then the one stitch before the C-clip has fluff on it, and so does the C-clip. And then once finish, we just move it up. So if you count around, you should still have 14 loops. So we just finished doing the 4 rows, and your hedgehog should look something like this. Okay, I was oh, also, you probably saw this hedgehog suddenly get a nose. I'll show you how to do that later. I just added a nose because I feel like, without the nose, I was having a hard time telling if I liked where the eye placement was. But yeah, the eye placement's actually fine. I just added a nose. I'll show you how to do it at the end. I just realized he suddenly had a nose. I feel like I'm so scatterbrained in this tutorial. I apologize. But yes, so that was it for the 4 rows normal. And now what we are going to be doing is we are going to be decreasing every third. And we're still adding fluff. So we add fluff all the way around again. So we're done leaving like this little patch for his legs on the bottom. So yeah. Okay. So we're going to be decreasing every third. So what we're going to do is we're still adding the fluff. This doesn't change. But, so this is 1. The first stitch we did is 1. This one is 2. And then on the third loop, which would be the next one, we're going to do a decrease. So what a decrease is you're going to want to grab the front part of the first loop and the back part of the next loop. And you'll make a stitch on these. But I just realized I forgot to add my fluff band, so let me add that first and then pick up the decrease. So like I said, front part of the first loop and then back part of the next loop. Let me make a stitch like that. And then we do 2 normal or single stitches again. So 1 and then 2. And then once again we'll have a decrease. So we're going to grab the front part of the first loop. I'm trying to leave it so you can see what I'm doing. And then the back part of the next loop. And then we make a stitch. And I need more bands. To get more out of the case they were in because this guy is using a surprising amount of bands. Well, I know how many he used. Yeah. I'm gonna have to watch this tutorial back. Lately I haven't been because usually after I make them I feel like I explained well, but this tutorial feels like a mess. Oh no. But yeah, so we just did a decrease. So once again we'll do 2 single stitches and then a decrease of 1. This is the first single stitch. And this will be the second single stitch. And then on the third loop, we'll do a decrease. So once again, we got the front part of the first loop, back part of the next loop. Then we do 2 single stitches. So 1 and then 2. I went off camera, I'm sorry. I don't know why I feel like my camera's blurry. This will be 2. So the last decrease lands on the C-clip, and let me check to make sure if we do it. 3. Okay, so your last decrease, because we just did 2 single stitches, will land on the one with the C-clip on it, but we're not going to do the decrease, so we're just going to do a single stitch. And then after this row, you should have 11, so if you count, you should go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And right now, you're probably going to want to stuff him, but I forgot stuffing, so I'll be right back. I got the cotton balls. So yeah, you could stuff them with whatever. I think I did polyfill for some of the other hedgehogs, but it was just easier to get the cotton balls, so he's getting stuffed with cotton balls. I'm also proud I remembered to stuff him. I always forget. But yeah. As long as you don't pull on the band with the C-clip on it and you take your hook out, it shouldn't come out. So, okay, we might have to add a little more stuffing later, but for now, he's pretty stuffed. But we're going to do the exact same thing we did in the last row, so we're decreasing every third again. So I'm just picking up some bands. And we are very close to being done. So, okay. So once again, we're decreasing every third. So this will be 1, and then the next one is 2. So the next one will be the third stitch. So we're going to do a decrease. Oops. Oops, oops. The fluff band came off. So if your fluff band comes off, I mean, it's the end of the tutorial, but you would just push it back on. But yeah, the next one's a decrease. So we go to the front part of the first loop, back part of the next loop, and make a stitch. And then we're going to do 2 single stitches. It kind of gets hard to see at this point, so 1, and then 2, and the next one will be a decrease. We're adding fluff bands on all the bands around. I don't know if I said that already. I think I did the last row. So the next one's a decrease. And then we're going to do 2 single stitches. Wait, I'm trying to make sure I'm on the right one. Okay. So 1. And then 2. And then once again, the last decrease is going to land on the one with the C-clip, but this time we're going to do it. So, oops. So there's 1 stitch and then the one with the C-clip on it, and this is supposed to be a decrease. And unlike last row, we actually do the decrease, and we'll just move the C-clip up onto this band. So, then we just move the C-clip up. So after this row, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You should have 8 loops. So now we're going to be decreasing every other. And this is the last row we'll be doing with fluff. After this, we're just closing them up. Why does my hedgehog look wrong? He looks... Oh no, he's fine. He was just very, like, puffed up, I guess, because of how I stuffed him, so I just flattened him out and he looked fine. I was like, I swear if I messed up again. But yeah, so we're decreasing every other. So the one we just did is a decrease, so the next one will be a normal stitch. And then the next one's a decrease. And then we do 1 normal stitch again. And it gets really tight here, so if you can't see, neither can I. I'm joking. So we just did, what did we just do? We just did a decrease. So we do 1 normal stitch. Then we do a decrease, which would be helpful if I could see. It's so hard to see at the end. I know I'm kind of off camera, but... Wait. It's hard to... I make such a hard time doing this last decrease. And then once you get a C-clip, we'll just we'll do a normal stitch, and you would move it up, but we're just going to take it out. So once you get a C-clip, you just make a normal stitch. If it would be helpful if I wasn't dropping all my bands. It's so tight right now. And we'll just take it out. Oi. So after this last row, you should have 1, 2, 3. I think you should have 6. It looks like there's 6. So that was the last row with fluff. So we're just going to be decreasing everything until it's closed, and we're not adding fluff on any of the bands this row. So we're just doing stitches with no fluff all the way around until it is closed. It shouldn't be too many, so we're just decreasing everything and we're not adding fluff. And I really can't show you how I'm decreasing because it is so tight and there's so much fluff. So just decrease until you can't no more. So I think this is the last one for me. Yeah, this is it. So once you put that last decrease up on your hook, instead of pulling it through just the decrease, you're going to pull it through everything on your hook. Put the back one over the front one, and then you're just going to pull tight. And then you just hide the tail in. And it's really easy to hide the tail for this one because you don't have to worry about like the tail sticking out because it just hides with the fluff. Like I pulled it out here, I can just let it go. And you can't tell that that's the tail. So yeah. And if he looks a little round like mine, just squish him down like this and he'll be fine. And there's the hedgehog. Well, not really, he needs legs, but he's almost done. So the legs are pretty easy to do. I'm just trying to remember if it was 1 band or 2, but it looks like 2 bands. So what you're going to do is you're going to get 2 bands. You're going to wrap them around your hook 4 times, so like that. Then you're going to get a band that's your hedgehog color. You're going to pull it through. Oop. If it would let me pull it through. Like that. Then you're just going to tie it in on the bottom somewhere right here. And like I said, it's pretty easy to tuck the tails in on this guy because you can just let the other end hang out once you just pull it through. So. Yeah, and we're just going to do that 3 more times. So I'm going to just make all the legs really quick. So wrap a band around your hook 4 times. Just pull the band through. I'll attach them as I go. I wasn't going to attach them as I go, but why not? So there's 2 legs. You just basically tie 2 in the front and 2 in the back. It's really hard to do the legs wrong. I just try to keep the legs in the patch where we kind of left no fur, so other than that, there's not really much to the legs. Also, sorry, I went off camera to make this leg. Oh. I knew that was going to happen eventually. Band just snapped. I'm sorry if me putting the legs in is boring. This, I'm going to pause and do the other 2 legs, and I'll come back and show you how to do the nose. Okay, I was going to finish the legs, and then I realized you probably want to see where I placed them. So I came back. I apologize. I feel like I was so scatterbrained in this tutorial. Eep, I don't trust these bands. I'm not going to pull them super tight because we already had one break. These were off-brand. I don't even know where I got them from, but I thought they were a good hedgehog color. Like that. Even though I think hedgehogs are actually more of like a gray color. And just like that, he has legs. So the legs are pretty simple. The nose is actually made exactly the same as the legs. So you just get 2 of whatever color you want your nose to be. You wrap it around your hook 4 times. And then you'll get a band and you'll pull it through. And then you'll put the back one over the front one first. So you have both ends back on your hook. You put the back one over the front one and you're going to pull tight. But because I already made a nose, I'm not going to pull tight on this one so I don't ruin my bands. But you just pull tight and then it'll look like this. And then you go, so you have your cap band here. You're gonna go through it. You just pull your nose in. I can't believe I just like added a nose mid-tutorial though. That was a whoops, but oh well. So, yeah. And that is it. Your hedgehog is complete. So this is a fairly simple design. I'm still not sure if I like where I put the eyes, but I think that's it for this tutorial. So if you make a hedgehog, definitely show it to me on Instagram. I love seeing it, even though I have to apologize because I have been so behind on commenting on everybody's posts who make my things. I don't know why. I got behind suddenly and I haven't caught up. Why does he look rounder? You know what, he's fine. I'm just being picky at this point. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching this video. I don't know why I said that. I normally don't say that. Can you tell I'm scatterbrained today? Oi. But subscribe if you want to see more tutorials from me. I have more stuff coming. I'm gonna try to put out a lot more because I keep getting more behind on my designs. And yeah, I think that's it. So I'm gonna go hopefully be less scatterbrained somewhere else. Bye.